And now it's better for black to capture on d4 and then go for bishop to d7. But instead, here black goes for bishop to g4. And the problem with that move is now white can push this pawn further to d5, attacking this knight, which actually played by Karpov. But guys, here knight to e7 might be the better option for black so that he can target this pawn on c6. Okay, so now here Karpov decides to castle short side and after that knight to f6 by black, targeting this pawn on e4, but Karpov simply goes for queen to d3, getting out from this pin as well as guarding this pawn on e4. And guys, now it's better for black to go for a5, because if white goes for knight to b3, now black can push his a pawn further, attacking this knight. And if knight goes back to d2, bishop to e6, attacking this queen, and suddenly you can see black is back in the game. Okay, so in the actual game, after the move queen to c4, here black goes for and guys, again black can go for bishop to e6, but instead he goes for rook to b6, and that's an inaccuracy because now white can go for this amazing move knight to d5, attacking this rook, and if knight takes d5, e takes d5, and you can see white successfully connected these two pawns as well as this queen is also targeting this bishop. But after rook to b6, here Karpov missed this amazing move knight d5 and instead he goes for knight to a5. And again black has option to go for bishop to e6, which I mentioned earlier, but he missed again and goes for and now queen to e2 might be the better option for white so that he can start launching an attack on the black king, and this queen side pawns and this queen will also support these pawn. But instead he goes for queen to d3, and the problem with that move is now black finds the best move knight to h5 so that he can push f5, which wouldn't be possible if white had gone for queen to e2, because that would target this knight on h5. And again white can consider the move knight to d5 so that he can connect these pawns, but instead he goes for rook to d1, and that's a mistake because as I said, now black goes for f5 and now f3, and here black can simply capture this pawn on e4. This is because after knight takes e4, now comes queen to g6 with the idea of pushing this pawn to d5, and let's suppose if white continues with any move like c4, which stops the move d5, but black can continue with the bishop to f5, creating more pressure over this knight. And obviously the move g4 is not going to work because this pin which is created by this queen, and by this you can see black is winning. But in the actual game, after the move f3, here black blunders by playing f4, and that's a blunder because Karpov finds the best move, knight to d5, attacking this rook. And you can see he successfully connected these two pawns and giving a discover check. Okay, so now king to h8, and now this position is better for white due to multiple reasons. The first one, take a close look at this bishop. This bishop is blocked by its own pawns, and you can see there isn't any good square left for it. The same goes for this queen. It's stuck on the 8th rank and doesn't have any good square left. You can see white can anytime target this rook by knight to c4, and white can also push this pawn to c4, creating a strong pawn chain. And by these all, you can see this position is winning for white. Okay, so now Karpov goes for knight to b7, and in this position black can consider the move knight to g3, giving up this knight because after takes, in the next move black will go for queen to h5 with the idea of queen to h2. But after the move knight to b7, he goes for bishop to f6 with the idea of e4, creating a discover attack to this rook. And guys, now comes the most interesting part of this game. Now you might be shocked that in this position, instead of defending this rook, here white can actually go for this amazing move bishop to d2, allowing black to play e4. And most of us will get worried in this position, but guys, this position is actually winning for white because of queen takes e4, queen takes e4, f takes e4, bishop takes a1, rook takes a1. And now let's suppose if black goes for g5 so that he can create this strong pawn chain. But now comes bishop to a5, attacking this rook. And you can see this rook has only square, which is rook to b5, but simply bishop takes c7. And now you can see white will capture this pawn on d6 in the next move, and yeah, that's all. But in the actual game, after the move bishop to f6, here Karpov decides to guard his rook. And you can see here Karpov successfully traps this rook. So that's why now black is forced to And now here black gives a check from g5, and some of us might get excited to do this cool move and passant. But this single move can lead to a huge blunder and be completely losing for white because of knight takes g6 check. But this you can see now this position is completely winning for black. So don't go for en passant every time. Keep your mind focused and active, just like Karpov. Because after g5 check, here Karpov simply goes for king to e4, and after that king to f7. And now white can easily win this game by capturing this knight on e7 by rook takes e7. This is because after king takes e7, king to e5, king to f7, king to f5, king to g7, king to e6, king to h7, king to f7, king to h8, king to g6, and you can see this is all over for black. Okay, so after king to f7, here Karpov goes for rook to g5. And in this position, Gaimaletdinov resigned because you can see this king can't go anywhere, so black is forced to move his knight, but simply king takes f6, king to g8, rook to b7, king to h8, king to g6, king to g8, and finally rook to b8 checkmate. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.